Wreck-It Ralph was great because it had so many different aspects to it. There's a conceit in the film, and I can't say too much, but I think we all know it's related to video games, and there's an 8-bit aspect to it. What's clever about Wreck-It Ralph is there's a bunch of, even within the concept of there being video games, and some of the characters from the video games have actual existences kind of behind the screen, which is the essential conceit of it. But it's not just one video game, there are different video game cultures in the film, some of which go all the way back to, for those who are old enough to remember, Pac-Man and Frogger, and when it was a long time before Halo and like decent processing and chips and graphics and whatnot. And so musically, you're describing very different situations. There's actually some pretty authentic Namco-style 8-bit music where, I was doing my research to see what the frequency response was on the chips on a Pac-Man game to make sure it wasn't too hi-fi. The whole experience was a kind of giant it was a sort of opportunity for every conceivable thing you might want to do as a film composer, and the trick is to keep it coherent. As long as you've got some thematic material, hopefully it's not a musical free-for-all. The Skrillex track's great because I can't give too much away, but let's just say that Wreck-It Ralph finds himself slightly out of his normal video game and out of his normal territory, and there's this really hard-hitting dubstep tune that Skrillex does, and it comes and it really accentuates how completely out of depth and how he's been used to a much more fluffy kind of a world, and he finds himself in a world that's a lot more aggressive. But what was interesting for me was I had to make sure, you don't want a situation where you get these needle drop things coming in that sound like a million miles away from the score. So the score has a lot of synth and electronic elements in it when it's needed. So it actually felt it didn't feel like a massive, you didn't hear the screech of brakes as there's a huge kind of U-turn and then like in comes a record. There's enough in there that it's all kind of in the same, hopefully in the same space and living comfortably together. So, having finished Wreck-It Ralph, I'm just starting to look at a comedy, an R-rated comedy that I wouldn't recommend it it's not a family film, but it is hilarious, directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. So it's an interesting combination of comedy and outrageous horror. Which is, that's typical film, is that you'll go from one situation to another and you have to leave all the paint pots you've just used at the door and pick up a whole new armory of tools. I don't mind moving around, obviously, because I did Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer, and then I've been working on G.I. Joe, that doesn't come out till March. But I think it's really good to do a variety of different things because looking on the positive side, you're constantly refreshing the things that are enjoyable about different genres.